Welcome back to Dark Alliance. Dungeons and Dragons. I said I had uninstalled this game and didn't plan to come back, but there's one thing that I've really felt like proving, and that is that this game gives an entirely new definition to the term brain-dead AI. And that is exactly what happens in this game, and there is no excuse for it. Every single enemy in this game has its own little combat arena. If you back off, the enemies will go back to their spawn points. And in this footage, you're going to see exactly what happens. And people said to me in my original angry rant, as soon as you start playing on a higher difficulty, the enemies start being more alert and with it. So I did the testing, and no, you'll see when I go and play challenge rating 6. And bear in mind, I started a fresh character for this. I've only ever played the first act of the first mission with, I can't even remember which character it was. I think it's the one with dual wield swords. So I made the archer because I've heard that the archer is the worst character in the game. There's just a lot of issues, especially I saw in SkillUp's review that there's elevation problems. If you are higher up than the enemies and you do one of your skills, the arrows that rain down don't even actually hit your enemies. But it's not just that, and my testing, challenge rating 1, I went into the second act of the first mission, and what you see on screen is exactly what happened. I can basically jump up on this ledge, the enemies will be aware, they'll come over, they'll attack me really, really slowly, and then if I jump down again, they will just go back to their spawn points. They won't try and chase me or anything like that, and yeah, these enemies are on a completely different platform to me. So they might not necessarily jump down, but enemies that are on the same level as me even do the same thing. So what I did was run through, went over the spikes, grabbed this keystone, whatever you want to bloody call it, and I put it in place to open the door, which reveals 2 other small enemies and then a big, more boss-focused enemy. And this boss-focused enemy, did exactly the same thing, except it was even worse with the range it can move from where it spawns. So this AI in the game is fully 100% brain dead, and the developers have come out and said, oh, we're aware of issues, we're going to be working on bug fixes. This isn't a bug. This is how they've coded this game. I've seen better tech demos that are designed just to test the combat. It's absolutely absurd how they've released a game, even free to play. This shit is not acceptable. It's that ridiculous. And then because everyone was saying, oh, go to challenge rating 6, as you get further into the game, you play on a higher challenge rate and the enemies become more alert, they're more aware, it's a better time. No, not at all. They are just simply at that point more of a quote-unquote bullet sponge. They sponge more of your attacks, they deal more damage to you, that is all that changes. So in this section, you're going to see challenge rating 6, and I'll play the part as I'm going into the mission so you know that it's challenge rating 6. And after we go through the loading screen, we go in, I do the same thing again, I jump up on the platform to the 2 little dudes that are protecting the lever for the elevator. And for some reason in co-op I had a lot of frame rate issues with these elevators. They run smooth in solo. There's none of that clunky gameplay when you're playing solo, so there's something wrong with the multiplayer connection as well. But you'll see that the enemies aren't attacking me. I stay down the bottom. I'm now firing arrows at these brain dead. They don't even have a brain. So it's not that they're brain dead. There's just a non-existent brain. Their pathing, their coding, it doesn't exist. But I carried on. I eventually killed those 2 enemies. And then I opened the door again. And it's exactly the same thing with this big boss-focused dude. I carried on for a little bit, and then I decided to drop down the elevator because I activated it with the lever and then jumped off it, so the elevator went by itself. If you drop down the elevator shaft, it's just going to put you back to the start of the act. But I dropped down there anyway, and I started running through the entire layout of this mission, because you can just avoid every enemy. But then, once I had done a little bit of exploration, I decided to stop and try and fight some enemies where the arena was a lot more restricting and I didn't have anywhere to really run, just because there were 3 or 4 enemies or whatever. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, can someone please explain to me how the fuck I actually died here? Because this is the sort of stuff that people will have to put up with when they play this game. I'm not playing on an old generation console, I'm playing on the Xbox Series X. I can't talk for PC. I am refusing to go to Game Pass for PC and install this game. I don't even realistically want it on my Xbox. I just wanted to do another test, and I'm going to keep it there because if I can think of anything else to come back and talk about, if they ever actually update it, I will come back and check. But this game was DOA purely because of how bad the AI is. As I said, even a free-to-play game would not be acceptable to put mechanics... I say put mechanics in, there's nothing there at all. It's an absolute shambles, and it's a shame because this game did look decent. Again, like every other fucking game we've seen this year, and for the last few years. It looked really good. The concept's there, the design is there, like the art design's pretty good, graphically the games look good, some of the mechanics can be actually quite neat, and some of the gameplay cycles can be quite fun to go through. But when you look deeper into the mechanics, the systems, everything like that, like what are you playing at? When you develop a game, you run it through testing. Whoever's tested this game, if there's even been testing, what are you playing at? All you have to do is load up this game, stand there. Ranged combat, these enemies aren't going to attack you. I've also heard there's a lot of one-shotting, especially if you're playing solo, and work this one out. Outriders made the same mistake with this. When you're in co-op, you can revive your allies. When you are solo, you don't get any form of self-revive or anything like that. It's a wipe and back to the start, or back to a previous checkpoint or whatever. But Outriders made the same mistake. Outriders put it down to wanting a combat puzzle in their game. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance developers, I don't think have said anything about it. But yeah, this game is not going to be played. You're not going to see tips and stuff on it from me. It's been out for, I don't even know, a few days now, like almost a week or something. And yeah, I can't be fucked. This game is just fundamentally broken to its core. I mean, if you're going to enjoy a game that's actually going to grab out, like, come out of your screen, grab your hand and hold it, then go for it. Play this game. But if you want any form of a challenge, steer clear. Go find something else. Even Minecraft Survival is more challenging than this because you can just use the archer and you can just stand back and attack. I've even seen footage of bosses quitting. They can't be bothered to be in this game anymore. They just despawn and it goes, boom, act complete. But yeah, it seems like every enemy doesn't even want to be in this game. It's that bad. So sticking to the words of my initial angry rant, steer clear, avoid it at all costs. But based on this one, this game gives a brand new definition to brain dead AI. So what we're going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments. And I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.